Hello everybody, I'm back with another banger as always. Since my top 5 tips for killer beginners got 5 views and one went viral, I'm gonna do another top 5 tips for survivors, and keep in mind this is for beginners, not for people that are experienced with the game. These are very basic tips. Yeah, so let's start. Number 1 is it's a simple one. Constantly be working on generators, which is obvious, that's what you do. And don't hide in the cabinets. Now, some people, they just, as soon as they start the game, they're good, they keep working on generators. But when I started playing this, I was a little bit of a pussy. I hid in the cabinets a lot and for a long amount of time. But in higher ranks, like 20, the killers aren't good at like looking around and all, but they will check cabinets. So if you're trying to hide from the killer, just hide behind a rock or something, and that works. And always working on generators is obvious. Usually higher up ranks, the killers don't put enough pressure on looking around all the generators, so should take advantage of that. The second tip is, out of the survivors that you get to pick at the start, well, later on when you're really experienced, it doesn't matter what survivor you play as because you have like all the perks anyway. But if you're starting out, I would say you should either pick Claudette, or if you want to spend money on the game, Laurie Strode. I say Claudette because Claudette has a really good perk, which is self-care, which just erases the need to get a medkit, and you can always heal yourself when you get hit. The only downside is that it's 50% slower, but that really is not a big one for the perk that you get. And I'd say you should also play as Laurie if you want to spend money. Laurie is my main because she has a perk called Decisive Strike, and what that does is when a killer picks you up, there's a skill check, and it's a fairly hard skill check. But if you land the skill check, you like stab the killer, and the killer gets stunned, and you can just run off. It's such a good perk. I don't even know how I used to play this without Decisive Strike, but self-care is also a really good perk. Number 3 is, in the higher ranks, most of the time for most of the killers, they either face camp, or more common than face camping is they camp around hooks. So just be wary about that. If you're going to save somebody off the hook, there's most likely a killer like hiding. It's usually a wraith that's gone invisible and is just like super close behind a rock. So always expect there to be a killer very near. Number 4 is, don't prestige now. Prestiging is when you hit level 50, you will get the option to prestige. And I did this because I didn't know how bad it would be. When you prestige, you lose all the perks that you've gotten up to that point, and if it's the base perks, you lose the levels of them. All the add-ons, all the offerings, all the items, you lose all them, and you only get a bloody piece of clothing in return. And there's also supposedly the items that you get in the Blood Web are better, but all the YouTubers, I said this in my killer one, they say that it's a very small difference, if there even is any. Okay, number 5 finally is, try and trick the killer using scratch marks. And what happens is, when you run or sprint, you can see scratch marks, or the killer can see scratch marks across the floor. But if you're in a chase, but the killer's like, there's a wall between you or something, if you run and then crouch like back the other direction, the killer will keep running forward to where they last saw your scratch marks, and it works a lot. It's like a high tip, like the higher rank you use this more often, but if you master this early on, it's so good. It's very handy, and it will work against nearly every chase. Okay, that's the end of the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.